you said bad baby daddies and why that happens. Why don't men feel the need to be there for their kids?
I just find that interesting. Like, why is it so common for like guys to be bad dads?
I don't know,
like,
why is it so common for women to kill their child in the womb?
What?
Oh, it's just like, but why the critique of men who are not willing to be fathers?
Are you going to be a bad dad?
Wow, that totally is a non-argument. So you're saying, wow, there's a bunch of like deadbeat dads. Sure, totally. Why are women allowed to escape from responsibility when it comes to pregnancy, but men aren't? So as a woman, you can literally, so you might not believe that like abortion is like killing or whatever. But like as a woman, you have like, you can get an abortion. So wouldn't this be like also evidence of essentially like the counterpoint of deadbeat dads is women who get abortions?
No. I think, well, because.
So just to be clear, so man, let me ask you a question. A man, the woman gets pregnant. It was a one-night stand. She wants to keep it. He doesn't. He's on the hook for child support for 18 years. You would describe him as like a deadbeat dad.
No. I mean, that
would be a deadbeat dad, right?
I'm talking about more so example. I feel like maybe, yeah, that's like an example. But still, I feel like.
I mean, if the man wanted the child, don't you think he would be a.
Also, why'd he come in her if he like is like doing all that? You know what I mean? Like, why he theoretically caused the problem.
Oh, so men should keep their legs closed?
No, men should just like.
No, but you would say that like, okay, what would you say to a guy for?
There's a difference between having sex and then like exploding in a bitch. I'm sorry, but like what?
Oh, but I mean, a woman can like be okay with that and then get pregnant.
And then also like birth control. I know. I'm just talking about. I feel like it's like a reoccurring thing for like. There's just. You know, we talk about like courtesy with like, or women having values, but then it's like all of a sudden men feel like nothing to like, you know, be there for their kids and such. Like, I just find that a little strange. Yeah, obviously I think it's a different, like we're talking about outliers, like obviously it's a different situation, sorry. When, you know, there's like a one night stand and like, I'm not, you know, that sucks for everybody involved, but I'm just saying like, I don't know. I literally was just putting topics out there because I just didn't know what to say, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting to me. Like, there's a lot of criticisms over deadbeat dads, but like this, I mean, maybe they weren't ready to have a kid.
I feel like that's fair. I feel like if you want to have a baby and the dad does not want to be a dad, he should be able to opt out.
Yeah, but they can't. And you as a woman can take away his bodily autonomy by going to the state, by going to the court, or going to like some government agency and saying, I want child support. And then he has to labor for 18 years or sometimes beyond that, depending on the state. Mm-hmm. And then you can force him. Otherwise, not only can you compel him to labor, you can also, the state can then put him in prison if he fails to pay child support.
I mean, I'm not saying there's sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I'm not saying there's bad situations where like also women don't just like get knocked up on purpose for a reason. Like obviously that does happen. But I feel like I just see it where it's like, it's just so common for there to be like, I feel like I can't speak on this. Like I don't have any kids and also like I don't have a single mother, but I just thought it was like, I don't know. I feel like that's like a reoccurring pattern I see. And it's also the same men that are talking about women bowing to them and women being submissive, yet they don't show up for their kids. Isn't your whole role to like, you know?
Where are you drawing these like totally...
Is that a crazy comparison?
Have you ever, first off, you said, oh, it's these men who like demand women to bow. Have you ever heard a guy wanting a girl to bow until you met me tonight?
No, but I'm talking about
you've never, so why are you saying like, oh, all these men who want like women to bow?
No, but like not just like in a literal bowing sense, but like in a mental sense, I feel like that's not a crazy comparison. You want to be dominant and all that stuff, but then the second it involves like, you know, you want to be the leader of the household, but the second you actually have to lead people, that you like opt out.
What?
Yeah. Yes. Listen. The second you have to lead, you know, not just your woman, whatever, but like children, be the leader of the household, that's when you draw the line. I'll be the leader of like that pussy, but like I'm not gonna like actually lead the household.
I don't even think this is particularly compelling. You'd have to actually provide some sort of evidence that's the case, that men who are, just to be clear, so is your position men who are more traditional are less likely than liberal, progressive?
No, that's not what I said at all. That is not what I said at all.
You're doing like you're making a compare and contrast. So do you think traditional men are more or less likely to step up in the event of like a pregnancy?
More.
Okay, so what's your argument?
I'm just kind of talking about themes that I've seen. I literally, once again, just throwing topics out there, but I've seen that theme a lot.
Going back to this, so you're saying, well, deadbeat dads, like terrible. You would have to also just say that abortion is bad too then, right?
I don't think it's a good or bad thing. I'm pro-choice, but I don't think it's like a glorified thing. I don't think anybody does. It's a sad choice that has to be made sometimes.
The majority of abortions are not like for the life of the mother. They're not for like SA. They're not for like incest. Typically, most of these women are just irresponsible, and an accident happens. Like most abortions occur for convenience.
I think it's a really sad situation. I think that's why, you know, like birth control should be super accessible.
Sure, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But the reality is, when it comes to abortion, most of these women are just getting abortions. Just they got knocked up. Like there was no SA, there's no incest, there's no risk to her life.
That's also like another.
These women just want to escape responsibility, just like men are trying to escape responsibility.
Well, maybe it's just kind of like, you know, just like a sad situation that's happening like all around. I'm not saying it's like bad to get an abortion at all. Like things happen, but I'm just saying like. I don't know. The same way you're talking about like people being more traditional and such, it's like, well, maybe there is like truth to like, you know, being a little bit more intentional with what you do, and like me also like correcting my past mistakes and such. Like, I don't know.
So if you're saying, okay, so if we take out the essay, because obviously with everyone here, we know that that's not, you know, right, and that's it's disgusting. And then if we take out the incest and take out that, if the person, say, is like, oh my god, going raw, oh my god, but she doesn't have any birth control or anything, and then they're not using, like, I believe that shouldn't be encouraged. I believe that both people should know the consequence, that most likely, also there's pre-cum as well. So, like, you know, I think that at least one of them, if they don't want to have a baby at that time, and then they're not expecting it and they just want to have fun, I think that at least one of them should have protection, if not two.
Sure, I totally agree. But I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that as a woman, when it comes to, I guess, bodily autonomy and control here, so I guess things are changing a little bit just because what state you're in, but you can always go to like a state where abortion is legal. So as a woman, I'm sure you would all agree, like, you'd totally be fine with perhaps the abortion doesn't even need a reason. But for example, would you say that abortion would be acceptable if the woman isn't ready? Acceptable?
I mean, I think it would like rip me apart on the inside emotionally for sure. Like,
but
really
acceptable reason to get an abortion?
Yes, I also think there's an added thing of pregnancy rather than just taking care of the child for 18 years and paying for the child, whatever.
As if that's not a big deal, but
we both do that though.
I'll come to that in just a moment. But okay, so what about the guy's not financially ready? Or sorry, excuse me, the woman's not financially ready to have a child. Is that pretext for getting an abortion? Is that right?
So we're talking about like they didn't protect themselves either way. Then
she's
this
pregnant.
Is like, okay,
she's pregnant.
Abortion.
She's not ready.
In my opinion.
She's not financially ready. Okay. Yeah, so those sorts of decisions are only decisions the woman has. Once the woman's pregnant, the man has no, like, he can't escape from his, he can't escape because, like, if a guy were to tell you, oh, I'm not financially ready, I'm just not emotionally ready, I'm not ready to be a father, tough luck. 18-year-old kid, you're gonna be on the hook for child support for 18 years. That's gonna entail you're losing your bodily autonomy because then you're going to have to work. You're going to be siphoning part of your income to the woman. By the way, there's absolutely no checks and balances when it comes to what the woman can spend child support on. She can spend it on things that are not related at all to child support. In addition to this, if you don't pay the child support, or you're late, or you hit a financial strait, she can then go to the court, or the court will just on its own behest can put this man in prison or jail for failing to pay child support, taking away his bodily autonomy.
So that's true, that's actually a law?
Yeah, as a woman, you get pregnant.
No, I know. I'm saying that that people can be put in prison for not paying child support.
Yes. So when it comes to this, the man has no say. The woman can go to the court, can go to a government agency. Hey, I'm pregnant.
It's a really difficult situation.
I have a kid. I want child support. I'm owed child support. I deserve child support. I'm going to get child support. She's going to get it. The man can't say, I don't want to pay. Nope, you have to pay. And then if he fails to pay, he's going to start having to pay interest on what he's owed. If he's unable to pay it, then he can, it doesn't happen immediately, but if he starts getting far enough behind, not only is there going to be interest applied, they're going to throw him in jail for failing to pay child support. It's a crime. In fact, we've recognized it as a society that it's bad to put people in jail when it comes to debts. We've done away with debtors' prisons, except for one, child support. And this is like 99% of people. When it comes to child support, it's the man paying to the woman. And when it comes to getting thrown in jail, it's like 99% men.
I mean,
it's a really difficult situation.
I know someone who didn't pay their child support for a while and they never got thrown in jail. Is there like, how long is it? How long is the duration?
It happens from tangential things. So
okay.
They'll suspend your license.
I knew he couldn't leave the country. Sorry.
Well, I mean, if he lives out of the country, then how would he be jailed?
No, I meant I know he could not leave the country.
There's all sorts of penalties which are imposed on you for the lack of payment. Mm-hmm. And so if you picked up on any of these things, like you're just driving down the street and your license has been revoked, you're going to jail. Mm-hmm. So like it's stuff like that.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the jurisdiction, depends on like geographical, there's different laws in different states, different cities, etc. But I mean, ultimately, and also like if a woman's not like really making much complaints, then it's perhaps less likely sometimes. But I mean, if she's like actually actively pursuing it in the court system, and the court system, my understanding is they get some sort of cut from the child support. So it's also in the agency's or the court's interest in actually like making sure they collect. Like as a woman, you don't really have to like chase down the dude. Like the court and these government agencies are really good at like chasing dudes down. They're going to garnish your wages. They're going to do as much as they can so that they get the money. Mm-hmm. And then
and if they have a show cause for why you haven't paid and you don't show up, it's a contempt of court. So there's all sorts of different things which are associative to child support. The thing is that the system itself, yes, there are deadbeat dads, there's no doubt, who refuse to pay support because they don't want anything to do with their kids. So that's true, right? And that burden shouldn't shift on to the taxpayer. But by that same metric, if a woman decides that she wants to have a child, and it's her body, her choice, and so she goes off and has the child, and the man doesn't want it, then how he can be stuck on the hook is beyond me. That seems like an additional privilege a woman gets to make that choice, but a man has to pay for that choice. Mm. And that's where the fundamental unfairness comes in, right?
Yeah.